Hello and welcome to Faithfully Stampin' with Jennifer Helm. I am Jennifer Helm, the Faithful Stamper, an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. Today I have for you a really quick, really simple gift card holder. This may possibly be the easiest gift card holder in the world to make. Very, very simple. Not a lot of supplies needed. It's kind of short, sweet, and to the point. Very compact, just big enough to hold a gift card, but perfectly lovely and easy to mass produce if you need several of them for the holiday season or birthdays throughout the year. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of cardstock that is 2 3/4 by 11 inches. We're going to score this a couple times. So you will need a scoring tool of some sort, and you will need it to extend past 6 inches. We are going to score this on the 11-inch side at 3 3/4 and then 7 1/2. So you're going to have 2 score lines. You're dividing this into 3 panels. One is slightly shorter than the rest. Now a quick tip. If you want to make multiples of these at a time, the easiest thing to do is to grab a sheet of 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock, score it on the 11-inch side using these same measurements, the 3 3/4 by 7 1/2, and then take that 8 1/2 by 11 sheet and cut it down into 3 of these 2 3/4 by 11. That way you're scoring one time on the whole sheet and cutting it in 3 instead of cutting 3 of these and then having to score them each. That's more work for you, so work smarter, not harder. That's what I always say. Okay, so one more step here. You can go ahead and fold on your score lines, and what you'll find is that one of the panels is shorter than the rest. So if you fold this one, your score line and the edge of the paper should match up. If you fold it the other way, this is a little bit shorter here by about 1/4 of an inch. And so we're going to cut this to create the gift card pocket. So what we're going to do is on this shorter panel, you're going to cut from the score line diagonally down to the corner. So let me see if I can get the best angle for you. I love my paper trimmer because what I can do is I can line up the point of my cardstock on my cutting track and hold it nice and tight with one finger and then pivot so that the score line matches on the upper track. And so I double check. And what I like to do on something where I'm cutting corner to corner, especially with cardstock, sometimes if I start below the cardstock and move up, it'll wrinkle the corner, and I don't want that to happen. So I'll actually start in the middle and cut up and down. I have a little triangle I can save for later. And then I have the foundation for my gift card. I've cut a nice little triangle, and this is where we're going to slip the gift card when we're finished. So the next step is to take some tear and tape. You can also use liquid glue, but you need a strong adhesive or else your pocket is going to slide open. So I'm going to use tear and tape. I would not use anything wider than about 1/4 of an inch. If you have narrower, that will work. It'll give you a little more room in your pocket, but our tear and tape is about 1/4 inch wide, and you don't want anything wider than that or you'll lose too much room in your pocket and your gift card won't fit. Now my little trick for tearing my tear and tape with a nice clean edge is a block with a straight edge on it, or even a ruler would work. And then I just pull against it. I've got a nice clean edge, and it's very easy for me to just give it a little burnish. And sometimes my fingernails work, sometimes they don't, but my take your pick tool, I can lift the end of my tear and tape and just pull that off, and then fold on that score line, and you've created your pocket. Now we're going to do some decorating. So we're going to do one more piece of cutting, and then we'll be finished. We want to decorate the pocket inside. You can leave it plain if you want, but I wanted to give it a little something. So you will need, if you want to decorate it, a piece of designer series paper. that is 2.5 inches tall by 3.25 inches wide. And we're gonna cut this on the diagonal. If you are using directional paper, just be careful, make sure you're cutting it in the right direction, because I made one of these earlier and wasn't thinking and cut it in the wrong way. So now I have two lovely triangles, but neither of them works on this card. So just keep that in mind. What I like to do is almost give myself a little visual and say, okay, I need a triangle going this direction. So I'm going to position my designer series paper, again, point to point, just like I did before when I cut the envelope pocket. And this way I have a triangle that will very nicely fit right on that gift pocket. Now, liquid glue is very handy for this because it gives you a little flexibility in positioning, and it also means that you can get right into the corners. You don't want this to peel up for your recipient. But the rule of thumb with glue is dot, dot, not a lot. You don't want glue seeping out and ruining your gift card holder. So I've got some Tombow green glue, and if it's gonna work for me today, there we go. Oop, probably got a little bit much there. I like to hold my tip right on the paper and just really kind of convince it to stay close to the paper, not too much there. And I'm using my silicone mat to save my work surface. And now, all you have to do is line up your corners. You will have a narrow border here, but the glue will allow me a little wiggle room. And I'm gonna leave this just to the side for a moment, so that will go ahead and dry, since I was a little heavy-handed with the glue. Now, for the front, you are going to want a piece of cardstock that is 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And then another piece of designer series paper for the front, which is 2.25 by 3.25. And we're simply going to layer these together. And then I'm going to set this to the side and work on my inside just to give that glue another minute to set. For the inside, which I'm going to stamp my sentiment on, pardon me, I'm going to use a piece of basic white that is 2.5 by 3.5. To this, I'm going to add my inside greeting. I have garden green ink, and my sentiment tonight is from the Christmas to Remember stamp set. It has lots of lovely verbiage for Christmas cards or holiday cards. And then the Christmas season stamp set is what I'm going to use on the front of the card to decorate my gift card holder. So to this basic white panel, I'm just going to add my greeting in garden green. I don't need any cushion under this because this is a red rubber cling stamp. It has foam already built in. So a little tap of the ink pad and a little firm pressure, and then the sentiment is done. And I'm going to go ahead and close that ink pad up. So my sentiment panel is going to go on basically the inside cover of my gift card holder. So a little bit of adhesive, which I just got on my workstation. Nice little border around the edge, and then this is finished. You can flip to the front, and then your layered panel can be put on the front as well. See if I can be a little less crazy with the adhesive here. So you can see these come together relatively quickly. Now, this is really sweet, but it needs just a little bit of something. So I'm going to decorate it just a little bit. I am going to take a couple scraps of basic white cardstock. The first thing I'm going to do is take another stamp from the Christmas to Remember set. This one says, "'Tis the Season." I'm gonna stamp, just tap lightly on the ink pad. I can see I've got pretty good ink coverage there. Sometimes I give myself just a little bit more. And then press firm, 1, 2, 3. That looks good. And then while I've got the stamp pads open, I'm going to do my stamping decorations. I'm going to switch to a photopolymer stamp set, so I need my Stampin' Pierce mat to complete that. Another scrap of basic white. And what I'm going to do is stamp a pine cone, which is 2 layers. It's a 2-step stamp. And then a little berry branch. So I'm going to start with my pine cone. And I have crumb cake for the base and early espresso for the detail layer. Now, it's my personal preference. You can stamp in whichever order you like on 2-step stamps. I have found using this pine cone, it's easier for me to stamp the detail first and then come back and stamp the more solid image. So there's the detail in the early espresso ink. And then I'm going to hop over to my crumb cake. And then since it's photopolymer and it's clear, I can line up through the stamp and see where I want to stamp over it. So there's my pine cone. I'm going to do the same thing with my berry branch. I have soft suede for the branch itself. And then to my little berry branch, I'm going to pull out that real red ink again and add my berries. This is one of my favorite stamps from this set. It just comes out so beautifully. I can line up the berries with 2 points on this image. And there we go. Isn't that sweet? And then once the ink pad is closed up, what I would do is run this through my die cut machine. So I went ahead and did that earlier. So here are my sweet little die cuts. And I'm going to grab my scissors and trim around my 'Tis the Season stamp. I did this once on a project and I thought this is the perfect stamp because it's almost like you're creating a banner and all you have to do is trim around the image to make it work for you. And you can stamp it in any color. So there we go. Little trim and I'm all ready to go. Now I'm going to add some dimensionals to finish this off. You can glue whatever you like flat on the card or you can pop it with dimensionals. The great thing is you can dress these up or leave them as simple as you want. So I'm going to use a couple of large dimensionals on the pine cone to start. And put it like this on the card. Then I'm going to switch to my mini dimensionals because they suit this stamped image a little bit better. And then I can also put mini dimensionals on my 'Tis the Season label. And actually, I'm going to move this dimensional that I just put on the edge just because I know I want it to sort of cover the front of my pine cone. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. All right, so backing off the dimensionals, my little berry branch here, I'm gonna add like so. And then once the dimensionals come off this sentiment strip, I'm gonna position it kind of to cover where those 2 images come together. And that's why I moved that dimensional. That way I can see where I want to put that and it's not too much bulk on the card. And so I've got a sweet little gift card holder, but I want to add one quick thing. I like a little bling on my card, so I have some red rhinestone basic jewels. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool and just place a couple of these on the gift card holder. And just like that, my gift card holder is complete and ready to go. All I have to do is grab my gift card and tuck it right in the pocket. Now, these will go in an envelope. The regular size envelopes are a bit larger, so it's up to you if you want to just give it to your recipient maybe inside a holiday card or in an envelope or just the way it is. But just so you know, it is smaller than a real envelope. And you can create your own if you want. I didn't go that far with these gift card holders today, but I do have some suggestions for you if you don't like the fact that it might sit open a little bit, if you want to secure it a little more. So we'll get there in a minute, but first of all, I wanted to show you changing up the cardstock can give you different looks for your gift card holders, but they're all perfectly lovely, and the basics are all the same. I just simply changed the color of cardstock for the base. And these are great for any occasion. I have a couple here. These are using our He's the Man suite. I used one of the die cuts that comes in the set and just created a pocket here. Now, if you can mix and match your designer series paper. For example, I cut this one and I have the two triangles. The other triangle, for example, the one I used before, it will not work because the triangle is going the wrong direction. So if you're making more than one, you can always grab another piece of designer series paper to give you that triangle that you need for the pocket. So just keep that in mind. You can keep these as simple as you want. This one I went very, very simple. I let the DSP do the talking, added a very narrow strip of cardstock and a quick die cut label. And then I didn't do DSP on the inside. I went with a layer of cardstock instead. So very plain and simple for this one. Now, if you are thinking, I really like this, but I don't like how it might sit open a little bit, I'm not sure that's gonna work for me, a very easy fix is a piece of ribbon. So I created another very quick and simple gift card holder here using our Hues of Happiness suite, mixing up my colors again. And all I did was I grabbed some ribbon and I tied the ribbon around the front and I secured it more or less underneath a die cut that I added to the front. So there is a lot of play here in the ribbon. It would come off if pulled completely out, but I can put my gift card in the pocket, write my message, and then I can simply retie my bow. And then once it's tied for good, I can trim the ends so that I don't have too long of ribbon tails. I am not the best at tying bows. But there is another idea to keep it closed for you. And then here is another Christmas design, and I wanted to show you that you can use this design in the vertical orientation as well. Just keep in mind when you are cutting your designer series paper, you want to have it be 3 1/4 tall, and then your pocket on the inside will be here, your sentiment piece on the top. I thought that worked best. You can reverse it, but I was afraid my gift card might fall out, so that's why I kept the pocket on the bottom. I wouldn't add too much in the way of dimension on the front of the card, otherwise it might make it a little bit difficult for you to write your message inside, but you can see it works very well like this as well. And I really kept this one simple. I wanted to let this really adorable Christmas paper speak for itself. And then I simply added a tag to the ribbon. So once I'm done here with my trimming, let's see. Nope, I have to do that the other way. But what I can do is simply add the tag back on, tie my bow, and then trim the ribbon, and that is ready to go. And again, this helps keep the gift card closed if you like. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this really quick and easy gift card holder. I hope it helps you with your holiday gift giving ideas, or really anytime throughout the year. If you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, I would love for you to do so. You can click the notification bell, and that way you'll be alerted each time a video is posted here on the channel. And if you're a fan of Facebook, you can find me over there at The Faithful Stamper. I post specials that Stampin' Up! Has to offer, and you can always check them out on my catalog link as well. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and happy crafting.